Is live. We are live. We're gonna have some boxing talks right quick. Talk about these corny internet motherfuckers. These fucking promotional company nut huggers. I never understood some of these guys that nut hug promotional companies. That there's boxing fans out there that they nut hug everything Al Heyman does, or they nut hug everything the Top Rank does, or they nut hug every. It's like I don't understand that. Did they cut you motherfuckers a check for all that fucking free ad space y'all giving? Did they cut y'all a check for that shit? Motherfuckers act like Al Heyman christened their baby or something. Like, man, why don't you get the fuck off his dick? That shit killed me. Motherfuckers talk about Al Heyman like he Kaiser Soze. Kaiser! Y'all seen Usual Suspects? Motherfuckers talk about Al Heyman like he Kaiser Soze. And motherfuckers will sit there and talk about Eddie Hearn, right? Talking about, oh, Eddie Hearn is a liar. He's a sleazeball. He's a fucking boxing promoter. If he ain't a liar and he ain't a sleazeball, he must not be a very good promoter. I mean, what? Do you know a boxing promoter that's like the Pope? That's like a saint? I don't know. I'm looking at these bum ass filters and shit. I like that one. We gonna rock with that one. What's goody, Tremaine? But yeah, like I don't know. I like to go to different channels to try out different flavors of boxing talk to see what's out there and shit. And 9 times out of 10, I see a lot of guys that complain about like basic shit, like, and that kind of gives it away how long that person has been watching boxing based on the shit that they complain about. Like, look, Kell Brook is about to fight this guy called Brandon Cook, pardon me. He's about to fight this guy called Brandon Cook. That's not a bad fight. Honestly, it's not a bad fight. The whole undercard for the Dylan Whyte versus Joseph Parker fight, that's really not a bad card. It's a decent card. You got Katie Taylor on it. You got Kell Brook on it. Those are two good fight. Those are two fun fighters to watch. You also got a rematch between Conor Ben and Cedric Paynaud. For anybody that saw that 6-round fight that they had, all 6 of them rounds was a barn burner. All 6 of them rounds was action rounds. Like, wasn't a boring round in that fight. So the fact that they're gonna have the rematch for 10 rounds, oh yeah, that's gonna be good. I'm gonna be looking to see if Conor Ben has improved since that time, because I'm gonna be honest, that if he hasn't improved and Cedric gives him all them problems, then I don't know. It's not looking good. That's all I can say. What about AJ? You think he shouldn't had talk about that 50 million shit? I was goody, Rome. Yeah, I do lives now, Marky. Sometimes it's easier to talk about certain shit as it happens going live. Like I still like to prepare videos, but every now and then I'll go live. I was good, Muddy Godfather. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like that's a good card. And I saw people complaining about that card. And I'm like, yo, that's a good fucking card. You're gonna get a good Kell Brook fight. That's gonna be a decent fight. You get to see Katie Taylor beat the shit out of somebody. The Paynout and Conor Ben rematch, that's a good fight. That is a good fight. And the main event is a genuine 50-50 fight. The main event is it's not a passing of the torch fight. It's not a showcase fight for a marquee fighter. The main event between Joseph Parker and Dylan Whyte is a genuine 50-50 fight. That's a really good card. But you got, I don't know, like boxing fans, they range from stupid to really stupid. Cause like, how you gonna complain about that card? That's a good fucking card. And the other thing I was thinking is like, yo, I see people complaining about who Kell Brook is fighting, right? And these motherfuckers gotta be dumb. They gotta be. You know that Kell Brook is coming off a fight in Triple G. And after that, he fought Errol Spence. He lost both of them fights. And in both of them fights, there were fractures to his fucking face. Fractures to his face. And for some reason, y'all think that the succession should be Sergey Rabchenko and a title fight. Like, what the fuck are you, a moron? You expecting this guy to fight? It's like, I don't know. Like, boxing fans complain about a lot of shit, and I'm like, yo, these dudes is fucking, you stupid. That's all I can say. They want Kell Brook to get sent to the slaughter. That's what they want. And I'm like, yo, dog, it's not wrong for them to match him against Brandon Cook. Brandon Cook is in the top. He's in the top 10 with 2 of the alphabets. He's not even a bad fighter. He's not bad. He's not terrible. I wouldn't call him some kind of like, oh, he's a bum or something. Like, that's some shit that a casual would say that, oh, because you never seen him fight, you gonna call him a bum, even though your dumb ass didn't even bother to watch the motherfucker. Why don't you watch the motherfucker at least before you make the determination that he can't fight? Bet you he'd fuck your ass up though, wouldn't he? But that's besides the point. But I don't think that's a bad fight, honestly. I think that's a good fight. Kell Brook versus Brandon Cook, it's a decent fight. It's a decent enough fight for Kell Brook because it's like, yo, Brook just got the 154, right? Who the fuck do you expect him to fight? Like, seriously, you expecting Kell Brook to go from Lomachenko to who? Jared Hurd? Or Jamel Charlo? If you expecting that, it's because you fucking stupid. By the way, I saw the debate with the precise pretend. Oh, yeah, that dude is something wrong with him, dog. Something wrong with him, man. Like, look, he started off when they asked him to introduce himself. If you go back to that debate, and I'm not gonna touch on it too much because I don't give a shit. He copped out. He started off with a disclaimer. Yet this is the guy who asked for the debate. So what the fuck are you starting off with disclaimers for? I don't know, dog. That's him, bro. That's him. I ain't got nothing against Kell. I was on his head a few years back for fighting Glass Joe 4 times. No, you know, this is what I'm going to say, young Merv. This is what I'm going to say about Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook is a good fighter. I do. But his resume is thin. That's reality. Kell Brook's resume is thin. It was thin before he fought Triple G. It was thin before he fought Errol Spence. The man's resume was thin. His best win was Sean Porter, and that was 3 years before Triple G whooped his ass. Kell's resume was always thin. So when I see a lot of guys try to inflate Kell Brook to this, like, oh my God, Errol Spence beat him, like, bruh, pump the brakes. Kell Brook is a good fighter, but his resume, like, he ain't the gateway to pound for pound status. That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to communicate. Kell Brook's resume is not dissimilar from Konstantin Ponomarev's resume. Go over the box rec, look at Konstantin Ponomarev's resume. Go over to YouTube, look at some of his fights. Konstantin is not a bad fighter. He's not. But at the end of the day, your resume is thin. It's not a lot of good names on there. I don't see the Luis Calazos in your resume. I don't see the Carlos Molinas on your resume. When I see those kinds of journeymen on a guy's resume in a certain succession, that tells me that he's being brought along properly. But when I just see a whole lot of what the fuck, it's like, bro, they protecting you because you should have been done fought somebody with a pulse by now. Now, Kell is a good fighter. We've seen that. But motherfuckers got to stop acting like he's the gateway to pound for pound status when Kell Brook was never considered a pound for pound fighter. And his resume was already thin before Errol Spence fought him. That's the truth. You could have unified with Jesse Vargas. I guarantee you Kell Brook would have won that fight. He would have won that fight against Jesse Vargas. You chose to get beat the fuck up by Triple G. So your resume is thin. And the 2 best guys that you fought beat you. That's your resume. That's your resume. I'm going to tell you what, Eric. I think that Kell could give Munguia problems. I think he could give him problems because Kell Brook is more durable than Saddam Ali. He's more durable. It's just that it's going to take some time before you put him in that fight. If you put him in that fight now, he loses that fight. If he has that fight 2 to 3 fights from now, he stands a better chance because he has the right style. He has the right style. People bump. Yeah, that's all it is. And you look at the Sean Porter fight. That fight was close, bro. When Sean Porter would close the gap, what did Kell Brook do? He didn't fight him on the inside. He tied him up. That was how he dealt with Sean Porter. When he gets past the jab, tie him up. Y'all acting like he was just boxing Sean Porter's socks off or something. Like, bruh, pump the brakes. Kell Brook was good. He was never considered a pound-for-pound fighter. So beating him ain't gonna make you a pound-for-pound fighter by default. Here come my son bugging out. You see Hurd with the lion? Yeah, I seen that joint. What you want? What you want, man? What? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about some Jared Hurd. You know who Jared Hurd is? Do you know who Jared Hurd is? You don't know who's your favorite champion? Jared Hurd or Jamel Charlo? Joe, who is your favorite 154-pound champion? Jamel Charlo or Jared Hurd? Who, man? Who? Hurd or Charlo? Like Charlo? He like Charlo. All right, what's good, October 4th? Yeah, I seen Jared Hurd.
No boy.
Oh, all right, man. My son is really into basketball. He ain't even that big on boxing. He was shooting J's before he even knew how to talk. He still don't know how to talk. Little dude about to be smart. I can hear it. Thanks, Merv. But yeah, that fight needs. You know what the thing is? I know that Jared Hurd wants to fight. I ain't going. Like, I'm not into shitting on fighters. I think Jared Hurd wants to fight, and I think that Jamel Charlo wants to fight. I think they both want to fight. But obviously, the people that handle their careers, they're gonna try to build the fight at least a little bit. They're not gonna throw him right in there just yet. They're not gonna throw him in there right away. So I'm not mad if that fight ain't next. I'm not mad at that. Like, that's normal, dog. Like, really, that is normal. What's not normal is a unification fight being made without no problems. 9 times out of 10, unification fights, big fights with interesting people, it does take a little bit of time. We lucky as boxing fans if you could get 2 champions to fight each other without it being no problems, because 9 times out of 10 there's going to be some kind of problem. There's going to be some kind of back and forth. It's only rare that you see that the fight get made real quick. It's rare. So if Hurd ain't fighting Charlo next, I ain't going to talk shit about neither of them, because I'm not expecting that fight to be next. I don't know, bro. I heard that Keith Thurman might sign to Eddie Hearn, but that's a rumor. I have not seen no confirmation from Eddie Hearn, and I have not seen no confirmation from Keith Thurman. So today, that shit is just a rumor. And I looked around. To see, is there anything from Keith Thurman saying that he want to sign to Eddie Hearn? And I didn't find nothing. So it's just a rumor. Well, you know Julius is serious. He'll say at the end of the day, barometer, Jeff Horn is... Oh, shit. He's stupid. Yeah, I might watch that fight, Eric. I might watch that fight. You know what I mean? But it's just... To me, it's just a lot of complaining over stupid shit. Like, motherfuckers is complaining about who Kell Brook is fighting. Motherfuckers is complaining that Jared Hurd ain't fighting Charlo. Like, bruh, stop fucking complaining. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So stop fucking complaining. Jeff got smoked, but I ain't mad at the teacher. Big heart. Yo, you got to give Jeff Horn a lot of credit. You know why you got to give Jeff Horn a lot of credit? Because you got motherfuckers like Ponomarev that they will leave the division to not fight somebody, bro. Realize something. Not only did Ponomarev duck Errol Spence, he ducked Carlos Ocampo. He was supposed to fight Ocampo. They were supposed to go to Mexico, and they was like, nah, we don't want to go to Mexico because we don't trust them judges, and Abel Sanchez can't come. I'm like, bruh, you done ducked the whole 147. You at 154 now. That's why you got to give Jeff that much respect that he had to fight, because he could have turned around and been a sucker about it. Yup, he ducked Spence 2 times, bro. Yeah, Jeff Horn could fight Anthony Mundine, bro. He could fight Anthony Mundine at 154. He could maybe fight Danny Green if he want to. It's not over for Jeff Horn. Yeah, E-Dogs, but you gotta realize something, that some of these motherfuckers duck with impunity. You gotta stop acting like motherfuckers can't duck with impunity. They can. Look at how Ponomarev ducked Spence, bro. Look at how he ducked Ocampo, bro. You could duck with impunity. You can. Motherfuckers do it. He might destroy Mundine. I'll give you that. He might. Mundine is what, 43? That motherfucker shouldn't even be fighting. That motherfucker shouldn't be fighting. But I tell you what, I always tell motherfuckers this, and y'all seen, this was in my one of my last videos that I made. They're like, yo, don't sleep on the domestic market in foreign countries, because believe it or not, Anthony Mundine made $10 million for a Danny Green rematch. He made $10 million. Over here, his name don't mean shit. But over there, his name is worth something. You know what I'm saying? His name don't mean shit to me and you, but it means something to somebody. So don't sleep on the domestic market, man. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Mundine, that motherfucker made $10 million to fight Danny fucking Green, dog, in a rematch that should have happened a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, motherfuckers complain a lot, bro. Like, look, Jarrett Hurd just unified the titles. Why would anybody be putting pressure on him, dog? Realize something. When Demetrius Andrade and Lara was talking shit to each other back and forth for years and years and years, Jarrett Hurd got the motherfucking job done. So I don't put no pressure on him right now. Like, yo, this motherfucker, Demetrius Andrade was a champion, and then they took his belt, and he moved up in weight, and you still ain't fight fucking Lara. Jarrett Hurd gets a belt, he unifies that shit ASAP. So why are people talking shit about Jarrett Hurd? I seen motherfuckers talking shit about Jarrett Hurd. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers can't be serious, man. That motherfucker, like, it didn't take him a long time to fight Lara. Y'all gonna talk shit about him. I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Danny has a shot. Danny has a shot. I like Bronchitis. Personally, I like Bronchitis as a fighter. He seemed like a good dude, too. But at the end of the day, Danny Garcia is a good boxer puncher. And what's Sean Porter? He's a good pressure fighter. The boxer puncher has an edge over the pressure fighter because he could box when he needs to. He could punch when he needs to. The real drawback for Danny is that he's kind of slow. That's his drawback, that he's kind of slow. That his hand speed is not quick enough to catch Sean Porter and catch him coming through the front door, which means there's a good chance that Sean Porter is going to close that gap and they're going to be fighting on the inside. Now, on the inside, Danny is a better puncher than Sean Porter, but that don't mean that Sean won't rough him up. All right, what's good, boxing is me? I'm still deciding who I'm going to pick to win that fight. And the reason I say that is because in the Sean Porter and Adrian Granados fight, Sean Porter looked like he was wilting a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He looked a little bit more human than he did in the Berto fight and in the Thurman fight. He looked a little bit more human. I noticed that shit. And I'm like, look, Danny got slow feet. Danny don't really got fast hands. But at the end of the day, Danny could crack. And it's highly conceivable that Danny could hit Sean with something nasty. That's a genuine 50-50 fight. Because where Sean has the edge in physicality, he's a superior athlete. Danny has the edge in styles. Danny is a boxer puncher, and Danny could crack. Ask Brandon Rios. I noticed that, Frank Alonzo. You definitely right about that shit. Danny is not that mobile, which means that when Sean Porter goes to close that gap and get on the inside and do some business, Danny gonna be right there for all of that. He gonna be right there for all of that. So you really got to think about it. Who do you trust in that situation? Might be off topic, but who do you see taking over at 175 if they start to unify there? I got my eyes on Dimitri Bivol, man. That kid has a lot of tools, man. He got a lot of tools. He's fluid. He has good hand speed. He has a very good jab. He's got a varying attack. I like that kid. He's got a lot of tools. And what's most important is he's defensible. Porter smothers his punches when he goes to throw them, when he clinches. That's true. And the question there is, if Porter closes the gap, is Danny going to create space on the inside so he could throw punches that have leverage? Because that's how Thurman got the job done. Thurman kept that space between them so that when he throws a shot, there's actually something behind it. Can Danny do that? Does Danny have the legs to just, take that little step back and throw something with some mustard on it? I appreciate that shit, James. Well, I'm gonna put it like this, Eric. Chilemba's a durable motherfucker. So if Bivol was to have that fight and he don't look spectacular, I wouldn't really hold it against. I wouldn't hold it against him because Chilemba is a durable guy. But we gonna see, because if Bivol knocked Chilemba out, that's really saying something, man. That's really saying something. I think Crawford is a better boxer than most of the guys, if not all of the guys, at 147. He ain't just doing textbook shit. You understand? He's got the fundamentals down packed. He's in a place where he has nuances and subtleties that other fighters don't have. I like Errol Spence. I think he's a great fighter. But Errol Spence, to me, strikes me as a good marriage of physicality and textbook skills. When I look at his implementation, there really isn't a lot of flash. Jab, jab, body, jab, jab, stab to the body. Jab, jab, stab to the body, hook. It's very predictable. And the reason that it works for him is because he's so heavy-handed and he's a southpaw. He also has a very good work rate. But like I said, there's not a lot of nuances to that. I don't see a situation in Spence when it comes to his combinations or his implementation. I don't see a situation that Terrence Crawford really can't work around. I feel like he can work around that. I feel that what makes Errol Spence dangerous isn't necessarily the technique, but the punching power, and that he's a big, durable welterweight. That's what makes him dangerous. Yeah, I agree with that shit. Boxing is me, because Barrera's not a slouch. Barrera not a slouch. Like, I know that he's not Andre Ward. I understand that. But Barrera is not a slouch. Crawford may be the best boxer, but I doubt his body will hold up to Spence's constant. Well, you got to remember, E-Dogs, Spence got to get in position for that body attack. We already seen that Crawford can maintain that space between him and the other man. As Spence comes forward and he gets on that front foot to throw that body shot or those body shots, Crawford going to be moving back or he going to be moving laterally. He ain't going to stand right there and take it. Control the distance, but he smells bloody, he goes for the kill, gets reckless. And Spence, he still kind of gets hit between the punches a bit. You understand? He still get hit between the punches a bit, and I don't really like that. I don't really like that. I think I mean, look, what you really have to ask yourself is, we expected to see mobility in the Algieri fight. That if Algieri has a ticket in this fight with Errol Spence, is that Algieri move around the ring. For some fucking reason, Algieri didn't want to move. Then you fast forward to the Lamont Peterson fight. In the Lamont Peterson fight, Lamont didn't want to move around the ring. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Like, why are you standing there with this guy? You know you can't match his power. Why are you trading with him? It's my opinion that the reason Lamont did that was because he wanted to catch Errol Spence with something nasty so he could back him off. And the punches got through, but they had no effect. The only time I seen an opponent really keep up mobility with Errol Spence was Kell Brook. Now, in the Kell Brook fight, that was a close fight. It's like, you know, that fight was not one-sided. It wasn't like, oh yeah, Kell Brook is just getting his ass beat. Nah, the fight was close. He's so heavy-handed, a lot of times guys will ball up and take it. Spence gets leverage that way. Crawford would have to keep a good distance. I think Crawford would try to fight Spence from the outside. That's what I think. I think he would try to fight him from the outside. And as he sees that Spence is slowing down, then you're gonna see Crawford fight the fight in the pocket. That's when you're gonna see it in the later rounds. I feel like the early rounds will go to Spence, and in the mid rounds, that's when the adjustment is gonna happen. That Crawford is fighting him long range, and he's tagging him, he's tagging him, he's tagging him. And as Spence is slowing down, then you're gonna see Crawford stand in front of him. I'm not gonna say Brook is a bum. I'm not gonna say that. What I'm gonna say is that don't try to inflate Kell Brook to make him seem like more than what he is for Errol Spence, because that's what a lot of motherfuckers is doing. That's what they doing. The only reason you see motherfuckers talking about Kell Brook like, oh my God, he beat Kell Brook, is Errol Spence fans doing that shit. Yeah, he beat Kell Brook. That's a good scalp. I'm not taking that away. It's a good scalp. But stop acting like that's the doorway to become a pound-for-pound fighter. No, it's not. I agree with that shit, Young Merv. The fight was close, and what I noticed about the fight is that Kell Brook did maintain his mobility in that fight. So that's saying that if you can play with the range against Errol Spence, you can make the fight closer. You can make it closer, and Terrence Crawford has, like, he has a variety of tools. Like, it's not just like, oh, well, yeah, this is a very good moving target. No, he's a good moving target who can fight on the move, who can fight in the orthodox stance or the southpaw stance. Terrence Crawford could go into the fight looking to set up the straight right hand, the southpaw killer. You know what I'm saying? So I don't look at it one way. I don't look at it as, oh, yeah, Terrence Crawford is just going to outclass Errol Spence. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I see more nuances in Terrence Crawford. I see more subtleties and better control of range in Terrence Crawford than I see with Errol Spence. Another thing I notice is that all of a sudden, people want to write off Terrence Crawford's opponents. When he's faced a wide variety of opponents that have a wide variety of styles and a wide variety of physical attributes, that he fought a long, awkward opponent who likes to move in and out of range in Julius Ndungo, and he fought a long textbook fighter in Victor Postol, a fighter with a good base in basic fundamentals, and he outclassed both of them. Both of them. I look at Crawford Spence just like Pernell Whitaker and Felix Trinidad. I don't look at it that way because I think Pernell was kind of past his prime in that fight. You know? I think he was kind of past his prime in that fight, whereas both Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're both in their prime. They're both at their sharpest and they're only getting better. I think the reason why people get so hyped about Kell Brook is because he fought Triple G and did a good job time to time. I think, yeah, but I think that people are misinterpreting that fight. You know, yeah, he landed some shots on Triple G. So did Curtis Stevens. So did Willie Monroe. That don't mean shit. Like, oh, Kell Brook was able to hit Triple G a couple of times. What are you, new? A lot of guys hit Triple G a couple of times. But the only time Triple G gets hit is when he's letting these motherfuckers hit him because they're having no effect. Crawford might turn out to be better than Whitaker. If you want my opinion, he might turn out to be better than Pernell Whitaker. I think he can handle 154 depending on who it is. By the time that Crawford ends up at 154, that's going to be a different division. It's not going to be Charlo, Hurd. I don't think it's going to be that division. I think those guys, by the time that Crawford moves into 154, those guys been done went up to middleweight. By the time that happens. You know what I'm saying? If we're going to think that far into the future, by the time that happens, shit, Triple G might be retired. Who knows what's going to happen to Canelo? Because the reality is that, look, motherfuckers acting like this Triple G fight is everything. When I look at it as no matter who wins that fight, the walls are closing in on them. And they are either going to retire or they're going to get beat. Because the walls are closing in. Either you're going to get beat or you're going to show everybody how great you are. Because 160 is filling up, and there's still more guys that are going to go there. It's filling up with killers. You got Ryota Murata, you got Jamal Charlo, you got Billy Joe Saunders still floating around. He's still somebody that people are going to have to deal with whether they like it or not. Regardless of what happens in September, somebody going to have to deal with Billy Joe Saunders. You still got Danny Jacobs floating around. At some point, at some point, Jarrett Hurd is going to move into 160. At some point. That's a division that is filling up with killers. So no matter who wins in September, they still got a lot of shit that's waiting for their ass after that fight is over. I got Murata. Murata has a quality right hand. My only complaint with Ryota Murata is he's a bit too economic. He doesn't work off the counter enough, and he has a right hand that if he works off the counter, he could finish a lot of these fights very quickly. He could have got Hassan and Dom out of there a long time ago if he would have hit the gas a little bit. Hit the gas a little bit. This guy can't take your shots. But I've got Ryota Murata in that fight. Rob Brandt still got Jurgen Brahma problems. It's exactly October. Hurd is going to end up at 160 at some point. And whoever is the man to beat in that division, they have a whole lot of fucking problems. A whole lot of problems. Yeah, I think Dulorme was a good win. I think Dulorme is let's put it this way. It depends on how you look at boxing, whether or not you want to call Dulorme a good win. But if you ask me, yeah, that's a good win. Dulorme was a decent fighter at that time. There's nothing wrong with that win. That's just like Relic beating Rances Bartholomew in that rematch that they had. Bartholomew's not a highly touted fighter per se. He's not a fighter that a lot of people talk about. But in terms of a good win, yeah, that's a good win. Rances Bartholomew is a good win for Relic. I mean, it all depends on how you look at boxing. There's a lot of boxing fans that they don't know jack shit about the fighters. They don't know jack shit about the fighters. They don't know jack shit about boxing. So they look at the names like, well, who the fuck is Dulorme? Motherfucker, you probably ain't ever even seen him fight to know if he's a good fighter or not. So if you acting like he's not a good win, it's because you never seen him fight. It's a good win. Shit, 147 is deep when Thurman is the weakest champ. I agree with that. R2. That's why Canelo has nowhere to run. And that's what I mean, E-Dogs. That even if Canelo Alvarez beats Triple G in September, you have to ask, what's going to happen after that? Do you stay at 160 because everybody's going to come after you? Do you go up to 168? Zerto wants to fuck you up. Zerto been wanting to fuck you up since 2016, and I didn't forget. Zerto wants smoke with Canelo. I don't know if Canelo want to fight a guy like that. What, do you drop down to 154? They gonna be chasing you in there too. You really ain't got nowhere to go. Not everybody can effectively change from offense to defense though, but yes, a powerful opponent will make anyone a bit more gun shy. It's possible, Eric. It's possible. I'll put it that way. Because Zerto is a big guy, and he's a strong puncher. You don't believe me? Go watch the Jesse Hart fight. Watch that fight. Zerto could crack, and Zerto is not little. If Daniel Jacobs gave you problems on the premise that he rehydrated 10 pounds above the IBF limit, then Zerto will give you some serious fucking problems. He's got one of the best chins. I don't know if he has the best, but he definitely has one of them. Some of the best chins in boxing include Triple G, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, Murat Gassiev. He's got a really good chin. I mean, it's a few good chins in boxing. It's a few. Oh yeah, but we're not talking about like on an all-time list. Boxing is me. We're not talking about like all time. We just mean out of the active fighters today. Some of the best chins. Triple G definitely up there. Kell Brook, he's got a really good chin. Sean Porter, good chin. Murat Gassiev, good chin. Let's see, at heavyweight, who's got a quality chin? I don't know. A lot of those guys, they shaky, man. A lot of those guys, they're shaky. I don't see a top tier. Well, Parker's got a decent chin, but has he really been caught with a really hard shot from a really big puncher to say, yeah, this guy's got one of the best chins in the division? Yeah. Yeah, Duapis has a decent chin. That's fair. Duapis has a decent chin because he was able to last a long time with Wilder. What are your thoughts on Spence telling Crawford to get a title, then changing it up? My thoughts on that are, if you want my opinion of what that means, I'm going to be completely honest that this is my opinion. This is not based on anything that I've read or anything that I've seen. This is my opinion. I believe that Spence knows that the powers that be have a plan that's in place for him, and that plan includes certain unification fights, that they know that negotiations for Crawford and Spence, they're going to take a while, so they're going to make the fights that they can make in the mean and between time. Let the fight build, and then they'll target the fight. I don't think for a second that Errol Spence is afraid of Terence Crawford, and I don't think for a second that Terence Crawford is afraid of Errol Spence. What I believe is that they know that that is not a fight that gets made overnight, and there's other things that need to happen before that fight. That's my opinion. Who, Tyson Fury? You stupid for that. You stupid for that. But yeah, I think that the reason that Errol Spence said that is because he knows it'll be easier for him to make a fight with the winner of Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter because that rift won't be there. That top rank versus PBC rift. It won't be there. He knows, and his handlers know, because they're the ones that are making the fight. They know that they can make that fight before they can make a Crawford fight. And since there's so much interest in a Crawford fight, they want to build it. And I don't blame them. Like, it's plenty of good fights to make at 147 before that one. Yeah, Fury did get dropped by Cunningham, man. That's why I be saying that a lot of guys up there are heavyweight. I don't necessarily trust their chins. I don't see a lot of, like, Ray Mercer guys that they could get hit fucking hard and keep coming. It's a tough fight, Eric. It's a tough fight. Because Mikey has serious fucking power. You gotta think about that. Mikey has a serious fucking punch. And I'm of the opinion that if Mikey were to have caught Loma the way that Linares caught Loma, I don't think Loma would have got up as quickly. I don't think he would have got up as quickly. Yeah, man, Mikey hit hard, man. Mikey's drawback in that fight is, yes, he hits hard, but he's slower than Linares. He's not as fast as that guy. I agree with that, Red Gloved. His chances of beating Crawford are better now than later because Crawford is a newbie to the division. That was his maiden fight. The thing is that as he further acclimates and further tests himself and feels out the division, he'll become more dangerous because he'll have a better idea of what he can take, what he can't take, and what he should and shouldn't do. Oh, yeah, and motherfuckers act like Dejan was some... That's the shit that I hate. When a motherfucker don't know a fighter and he gonna act like he a piece of shit just because he don't know him. Yo, Dejan was undefeated, and I forgot, who did Dejan beat, man? He had just beat somebody. Who was it that Dejan's Latijanine beat? He had just beat a good dude. I remember that. He had just beat a good dude. Yeah, because if my memory serves me, Dejan was knocking motherfuckers out. Dejan's Latijanine was knocking motherfuckers out. Yeah, Linares is slightly taller than Mikey. He's slightly taller. He's got a little bit more reach. Oh yeah, that'd be a beautiful fucking fight. Beautiful fucking fight for 2019. You know, on one hand, Mikey Garcia has power and he has a great base in textbook fundamentals, and most importantly, which is his best out in this fight, is that he has good timing. Lomachenko is blistering fast, but if you have good timing, you can work around that. Yeah, Mikey ain't that big neither, Jax. Mikey ain't that big. What's he, 5'7"? You know what? I'm leaning. It's tough because Gassiev surprised me. I thought Dorticos was gonna beat Gassiev, and he surprised me. He kept that fight close to Dorticos' chest, and he was able to take away the right hand. That was something special. But I don't know. I keep visioning that. You know what? If you try to fight that fight with Usyk, Usyk's movement and his work rate, he could win a points decision. Gassiev has a great chin, so the odds of him getting knocked out, I don't know about all that. But he could lose a points decision because Usyk has a great work rate and he has great movement. You know what I mean? Whereas Dorticos, his biggest ticket in that fight was the right hand. If he lands the right hand, there's not a lot of people that can stand up to it. But guess what? Gassiev took away the right hand, and Dorticos didn't have nothing else to compensate for it. Like, shit, mix it up. Go to the body. Do something. Exactly, young Merv. All he had really was a 1-2. Jab in the right hand. Jab in the right hand. I think that with the people that are there, he can win certain fights. Certain fights. You know what I mean? But remember that Linares still has the same kind of drawbacks that he had before. He still cuts very easy. A guy like Regis Prograis could open up his whole fucking face. So, it's things to consider. That's a tough fight. I haven't decided, Jax. That's a genuine 50-50 fight. Because the thing is, Joseph Parker has a good gas tank. He can still have energy in the later rounds. If this fight is in the 10th or the 11th round, there's a chance that Dylan Whyte has been the busier guy in the fight, and that'll make him the more tired guy in the fight. And one quick counter from Joseph Parker could put him out. It could happen that way. The other way it could happen is that Joseph Parker is far too fucking polite. This guy doesn't know when to hit the gas. So Dylan Whyte might outwork him. He might not knock him out, but he might outwork him and win a close decision. It's tough. That's a close fight. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's not gonna be a boring fight. That fight is. I'm telling you, that fight is not gonna be a boring fight. Cause Dylan Whyte don't come to box. Hey, I'm not going to say nothing, Red Glove. I'm not going to say nothing. I haven't decided, but that's what I know is that fight is not going to be a boring fight. Dylan Whyte won't let it be a boring fight. Hey, what's good, Ant? Dylan Whyte ain't going to let that be a boring fight. If don't nobody want to hit the gas, Dylan Whyte will hit the gas. Whether he compromises his defense or not, he will hit the gas. You know what I'm saying? That's the shit about him, and that's kind of why I like Dylan Whyte. Cause he's one of he like a throwback heavyweight. They're like, look, I'm just coming here to fuck you up, man. You might knock me out, but I know that I'm here to fuck you up. I can't stand White Toxic Avenger looking ass, but yeah, he come to fight, bro. He come to fight. That's why I like him. He like a throwback heavyweight. He reminds me of a Burt Cooper or a Ray Mercer. That like, yo, dog, look, I'm here to fuck you up. That is what I'm here to do. I'm not gonna finesse fight you. I'm not gonna play with you. I'm not gonna chess match you. I'm gonna come fuck you up, and I like that. That's what the heavyweight division is supposed to be. Preliminary. I'm gonna have another look at Sergey. I'm gonna have another look at Sergey. Because when I heard about it, I had visions of the Parag fight, and I'm like, yo. But I'm gonna have another look at him before I decide. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna watch that Terriano Johnson fight one more time, and I'm gonna see if he can catch Jacobs. Because Jacobs' problem, the problem that I have with him, is he has the hand speed to lay it on thick. But for some reason, he be wanting to box with guys that he can knock the fuck out. Like, yo, don't box with Arias. Knock him the fuck out. The fuck? He could have knocked out Maciej Suliecki. Like, yo, it wasn't until later in the fight that he really started opening up. Like, dog, you have fast hands. You have power. Knock this motherfucker out. Getting punched by a world-class boxer in the solar plexus, diaphragm, liver, areas that sit-ups don't protect, will slow anyone liver connect to the central nervous system. Yeah, that's true. That's why them liver shots put you out. I was looking forward to Luis Ortiz against Dillian Whyte. Yeah, but the Parker fight is a good fight too, dog. The Parker fight is a good fight too. Trust me. That's a good fight. I'd rather Luis Ortiz get an easy one so that he could get back in the mix. Because I don't want it to be that Dillian Whyte is facing Luis Ortiz, even though that's a great fight. But I don't want it to be that Deontay Wilder softened up Luis Ortiz and then Dillian Whyte finished him off. I would rather that Parker and Whyte hash that shit out. Yeah, Quillin didn't want none of that shit, man. You see what happened after that fight? We ain't never seen Quillin again. We ain't seen Quillin since that fight, bro. So I'm like, yo, Danny, man, can you please stop playing with them and hit them? Stop playing. Act like you fighting Triple G. I agree with that shit, Sean. That's why I kind of like the Parker fight a little more, because Parker isn't as compromised due to his last fight. I like the Luis Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte fight. I like that fight. But in the back of my mind, I felt like, you know what? Luis Ortiz is coming off a really hard fucking fight, man. He is. He's coming off a really hard fucking fight. That shit could affect him if he fights a busy guy like Dillian Whyte. And I don't want it to be that, oh, well, Wilder softened him up, so Whyte came and finished him off. Nah, I would rather see, okay, Parker didn't take a lot of damage in that Joshua fight. He got outboxed, but he didn't take a lot of damage in that fight. So I'd rather see them fight. Spilka over there in Poland fighting Polish guys. And Izu, well, I don't know if Fred Kasi is from Poland, but Izu just fought Fred Kasi. That was his comeback fight. He got KO'd? No. He got KO'd? The last time I seen Spilka get KO'd, wasn't it with Babyface Assassin? What's this kid's name, man? Kalnaki? That was in Brooklyn. But Spilka just had a fight. You talking about Kalnaki, man? That wasn't his last fight. He just had a fight on a Polish fight card. He just had a fight. This was after the Kalnaki fight, yo. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying now, Sean. That, yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you that the Wilder KO was a very violent KO. So for you to come back off of that to fight somebody with a pulse, that it's like you kind of compromise. Like you might need an easy one before you face a killer. Because if you go fight another killer, it's going to be like, yo, well, you just got knocked the fuck out by him. Now you might get knocked the fuck out by him. And I don't want it to be that way. What would Triple G have done to Quillin? Make him, I think that jab would have got to him. I think that jab would have got to him, honestly. I think that jab would have broke him down, to be completely honest. And I don't like Quillin's chin, to be honest. I never liked his punch resistance. I didn't expect him to get put out in one round. I didn't expect that to happen. But I never looked at Quillin as being a particularly durable middleweight. got time, bro. I mean, fuck. Go fucking fight. Who the fuck is? You know what? Go fucking fight Manuel Char. The fuck, Freza Kendo got time. That motherfucker been around for a long ass time. Go fight him. You know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz is not super duper old. Remember, this is the heavyweight division. Frez Akendo is still floating around, bro. That should be telling you something. If for all the old heads that really watch boxing, Frez Akendo is still fighting, dog. He's still ranked. All right? So Ortiz ain't he old and time ain't on his side. But he ain't so old that he can't, squeeze in an easy one before you fight somebody. Squeeze in a Dave Allen or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Shit. Don't rush that man to get his ass beat so that motherfuckers could turn around and say, well, Dylan Whyte beat Luis Ortiz too. Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And God forbid that Dylan Whyte has an easier time. I'm not saying that would happen, but if it did, imagine if Whyte got Ortiz out of there or something like that. What is motherfuckers gonna say? So cut it out. Y'all don't want to have to deal with that any more than I do. Y'all do not want to have to deal with that. Yeah, fight a man Mansoor, shit. Old 40-year-old fight. Old 40-year-old nigga fight. All y'all old. Y'all been around. Nobody want to fight y'all. Fight each other. Amir Mansoor could fight. You know what I mean? Shit. Y'all gonna rush him into a situation and that motherfucker's gonna say, oh, look, Ortiz got beat again. I guess he never was that good. Like, nah, he tenderized. He don't need to be in that fight. Oh, man, y'all just want Ortiz to get beat up. I think what's going to happen is Big Baby Miller versus Kubrat Pulev. Because since Dylan Whyte is fighting Parker, the next man in line is Baby Miller. I think the next man in line via the IBF is Big Baby Miller. So what might happen is Kubrat Pulev versus Big Baby Miller in Bulgaria as an IBF final eliminator. I mean, Pulev, he's a fucking weirdo, man. He could have had the AJ fight already. He's a fucking weirdo. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Like, yo, dog, what are you here to do? Be real. What the fuck are you here to do? What are you here to do? Yeah, they need to do that. Get all the old guys. Get Luis Ortiz. Get Amir Mansoor. I think Alexander Ustinov. I think he's pushing 40. Get him in there. Get Alexander Povetkin. Shit. Get all the old guys. Old man Turney. Winner gets a trip to Denny's. Miller. I would pick Miller in that fight. I would pick Miller in that fight. Pulev is acting so fucking safe. Like, dog, you are literally in the most dangerous division in boxing. The most ambiguous division in boxing. And you acting like you weigh 147 fucking pounds. We don't got time for this shit, and you don't have time for this shit. Nah, I'm saying they should get all the old guys, Dan. Get all the old guys and make them fight each other. 40-year-old man tournament. Winner gets a gift basket of Bengay, some Tums, and some anti-inflammatory aspirin. All them old guys need that shit. They need swell up. Winner gets a gift basket from Rite Aid. Amir was gonna beat Dominic Brazil, man. He was fucking Brazil up, man. I'm mad at that shit. I think he bit his tongue or some shit in the fight. Some funny ass shit happened, but he was winning that fight. Yeah, winner gets a gift basket from Walgreens. They get some anti-inflammatory pills, some Bengay, some vitamins. They get some what's that shit they give the old people? What's them Geritol? They get some Geritol. Dan, the man got to do another podcast, man. That was a good panel that you had on there the other day. I liked that shit. I ain't like low place though. That motherfucking man. Ooh, that motherfucker smoked some hard drugs. Hard. He said Adonis Stevenson, #1 pound for pound, cause he was fighter of the year, bro. How many fucking years has it been since he was fighter of the year? The fuck rock you been living under? That motherfucker is on the hardest drugs. Ooh. Yeah, he said that shit, Merv. He said Adonis Stevenson is the #1 pound for pound fighter. Yo, dog, I almost fell down. You couldn't see it on the pod, but I almost fell down. Like, yo, my ribs hurt from laughing. You could hear it in the pod. They're like, I almost didn't believe him. I thought he was playing. That's what he said, Red Gloved. He said that shit. He was like, he was fighter of the year. Like, bruh, how long ago was he fighter of the year? Pretty much. Shit, when you gotta pay your pay your mandatory challenger to step aside 3 times, of course you gonna stay lineal. You don't wanna fight nobody. Motherfucker Joe Smith wanted to fight him. That shit ain't happen. Kovalev wanted to fight him. That shit ain't happen. Alvarez wanted to fight him. That shit ain't happen. Of course you gonna still be lineal. You don't want to fight nobody. You watch Joe Smith flatten Fonfara, so you decide you want to have a Fonfara rematch, but you don't want to fight Joe Smith. The fuck out of here, man. Of course you still lineal. Motherfuckers forgot that shit. Joe Smith and Adonis was supposed to fight. We gonna see about Vodzik, man. We gonna see about Vodzik. We gonna see about him. We gonna find out what the nail is really made of. We gonna find that shit out. He been looking good though. I'll give him that. He been looking good. But if I had to see who do I see that has a really bright future at 175, it's Bivol. Bivol took care of Felix Valera. He took care of Sullivan Barrera. That motherfucker is not playing, dog. That motherfucker is not playing. Yeah, that's what I heard. Get off me, son. That's exactly what I heard. I heard he looked human in his last fight. I didn't get to catch it. It's not that I think he's gonna give him up, but the WBA is a crooked ass organization. Remember, 2 marquee fighters are having a WBA title fight. Who's to say that they won't take Thurman's belt from him and give it to them? It could happen. Oh yeah, it could happen. Remember, Lebedev is out on recess. They gave Dorticos his version of the title for the Garcia fight. That's why I say that. So yes, it could happen. Don't sleep on the WBA, man. Don't sleep on Mendoza. Ain't nothing but a baby Mauricio Suleiman. That's all he is. That's all he is. I don't know about that, Jax. Like, what has Better Beef? You know what I'm going to ask? What did Better Beef do that indicates to you that he's better than Bivol? Bivol has punching power, but he's more defensible than Artur. He's not as slow and robotic as Artur. We look at their resumes side by side. Look at the guys that Bivol fought already. Look at who he fought already. Felix Valera, already. Before Barrera fought him. Barrera, who only lost to Andre Ward. He about to fight Chilemba. Yeah, he's stuck with Yvonne Michelle. I was hoping he was going to get out of that shit. Top Rank would have been good for him, man. They would have been good to him. I was hoping he was going to end up with Top Rank, but this old Canadian motherfucker. Bro, Anthony Yarde ducked Artur Beterbiev. He ducked Artur Beterbiev. He don't want to fight. You ducking Beterbiev, how you going to fight Sergey? How? Beterbiev's best wins, I think, is what? Campillo and God, who's the other guy? Campillo. Who the fuck is this other guy that he fought? And he was coming off of losses, I believe. I forgot the other guy that he fought. It's okay. But when I look at Bival's resume, yeah, it's better. Bival has 13 fights. Beterbiev has 12 fights. But Bival has fought better people. Nah, not Caleb Smith. You talking about Johnson, Sean. You talking about Johnson. Caleb Smith is the dude from 168. Caleb, look, this is what I'm going to say about Anthony Yarde, and it's going to sound funny. But if he's ducking people, I don't blame him. Why? This guy has almost no amateur background. All these other guys have great amateur backgrounds. Artur, Sergey, Bivol, Vodzik. All these guys got all this amateur experience that he don't have. So he has to duck them. Because if he don't, they gonna fuck him up. That's the reality of that shit. He gotta duck them guys. The reason I'm not mad at him, why? He's just a contender. He's free to fight whoever the fuck he wants. He's not a champion. He's under no obligation to fight anyone in particular. So if Frank Warren is giving him the opportunity to grow as a fighter, as a contender, by, bringing him on the bring-along process, I don't blame him. And I hope he do that with Dubois, too. Dubois only 20 years old. He don't need to be in a title fight right away. Let that man grow. You better bring them along, because I'm telling you, if you put Yarde in there with one of these guys, they'll kill him. Oh yeah. They'll kill him. Yeah, Yarde ducking Buatsi. This is why I said it. He doesn't have a choice but to do that. He don't have a choice. He has to. If you put him, could you imagine putting Yarde in there with Beterbiev? Beterbiev will annihilate him. Yeah, but you know the amateur system is weird, bro. Amateur fights are weird because this is when these guys were young. I heard that Sean Porter beat Alexander Usyk in the amateurs, as bizarre as that sounds. I think it was a middleweight fight. Yarde's trainer is milking the situation. I think he's never made much money as a trainer. Now that he has Yarde, he doesn't want to... Well, it's not just that. Yarde is not ready for world-level competition. I'm not saying that to protect him. That is my assessment of him. He's not ready for world-level competition. If you put him in there with some of these guys, they'll beat the dog shit out of him. He needs to grow. He needs to have more bring-along fights. And yes, his resume may end up padded as a result. But if you don't do it, this guy has almost no amateur background. So you have to. Bingo. Bingo, Sean. I told motherfuckers Lubin is not ready for that fight, bro. Lubin is not ready for that. I told him, like, nah. Motherfuckers want to argue. I like, bro, I'm telling you, Lubin is not ready for that fight. He looking good against those guys because it's those guys. Don't be fooled. What happened? He ain't last a fucking round. Nothing against him. I have nothing against Erickson Lubin. I hope he bounces back. I hope he has a great career. I wish no ill will towards no fighter. But what I'm saying is he wasn't ready for that situation. He wasn't. And that's what I was saying the whole time. That he not ready for that fight, bro. Because he ain't ready for them neither, Dan. He not ready for them neither. He not ready for them neither. He fight them, they might beat him. What he got? 24 amateur fights or something like that? He got like 24 amateur fights. I think less than that. Everybody looks sharp on Instagram, bro. Don't let that shit fool you. Don't let that shit fool you. Everybody look good hitting them pads on Instagram. You fuck around with the right angle, I'ma look good hitting them pads. Everybody look good doing that bullshit. Put them in that ring. It's a little different when the pads is moving around and they hitting you back. Don't believe that bullshit. Exactly, Jalen. Broner be looking like he about to win a world title in the gym. Ends up getting outworked by Jesse Vargas. They got to throw you a lifeline. They got to call it a draw because they still want to use your name. Fuck that shit. Joe Joyce is a real motherfucker, man. Derek Chisora don't want those problems. He don't want none of those problems. Shit, Miller. Not for nothing, look. I like Jerome Miller. He from New York, so I really like him. From the same place as me. But you ain't got a lot of good reasons to not fight Joe Joyce. You don't. Nobody else, you're not going to get a title shot. You not. Joshua's busy. Wilder's busy. There's people ahead of you in the line. You should have fought Joe Joyce. You ain't want to fight him. We know why. We know. Shit don't fool me. And I like Jarrell Miller. I like that guy. Buatsi, man. Buatsi Ahmed. You know that shit. As usual, Broner wants to be left alone. Man, fuck Broner, man. Fuck Broner. Yo, I'm telling you, I always tell everybody, Joe Joyce looked like Anthony Joshua and Mike Perez had a baby, a butt baby. He looked like a big-ass Mike Perez that's light-skinned. He really do. He looked like a big-ass Mike Perez that got some Puerto Rican in him. Shit, I forgot. Mike Perez is Cuban. AB, about beatings. Man, Broner probably got his finger in Javante ass as we speak. Nah, I'm just playing. Let me not. I don't want to disrespect nobody. But that motherfucking Instagram shit was gay as hell, man. What the fuck was that, bro? What was that shit? Like, can somebody explain to me what the fuck that shit was? That shit was, man. That shit was really fucking, that shit made me uncomfortable, dog. Like, what are y'all doing, dog? What are you doing, bro? You trying to slide into Javante's asshole? Y'all some weirdos. That'd be a good fight, Sean. Nah, you know why it wasn't worse than that? Because Tyson is acting like a fake. Tyson hamming it up, right? He hamming it up for the cameras. Bro, they was hugged up in the club with each other. And he was blowing kisses at him, bro. Why? Y'all, who are y'all doing that for? Like, nah, dog, that shit. Dog, that shit's dog. I seen that shit. I was like, I don't know what the fuck going on here, man. See, you trying to slide into this light skinned boy's ass, man. That's what you doing. You fucking weirdo. That's you gonna fuck up his career. This weekend, it depends on the time, man. It depends on the time. But shit, man, that shit was really uncomfortable, dog. Like that shit really, like, what are y'all doing, yo? What are y'all doing? Why are y'all doing that? Why are you posting it on Instagram? Motherfuckers don't want to see this shit, bro. Fruity ass Broner, man. Oh, weird motherfucker, man. Take Floyd all have been. Nah, I ain't gonna say all that. Chill. Broner got problems, man. I don't know what his problem is. He talking about AB the problem, motherfucker. You got problems. That's what it is. It ain't that you are the problem. You have problems. You have psychological problems. Yes, I do think that boxing is me. I think it's not far away now. I can't see Triple G fighting for another 4 to 5 years or something like that. I don't see it. I don't see that shit. I think he finna retire. Bro to put motherfucking peanut butter in his asshole and let the dog lick it off. That motherfucker's a weirdo, man. That motherfucker, he's just weird, dog. Like, he weird. When he got mad at Ness, he pointed at the camera and I noticed his pinky nail was painted. I'm like, yo, look at this shit. Who the fuck does that shit, bro? Me neither, red gloved. I don't see that shit happening, bro. Took a step backwards. He look, he gotta knock Canelo out. That's what he gotta do. I'm not saying that's what he will do, but that's the mindset that he has to have. That in this fight, you have to take chances. You gotta lay it on thick. You gotta knock him out. You have to. If he don't go in there trying to go for the kill from the opening bell, bro, you know how Canelo is with judges, bro. You know what I mean? You see the WBC done left you high and dry, and they fucking with him now. Please, Triple G's. Has this fight with Canelos. Boxing needs this fight. Mauricio over there trying to speak English and shit, fitting into his chair. Motherfucker big as shit. Please, Triple G. Have this fight. The buddy fights are still big fights. Canelo, BJS. If Triple G wins in September, then that opens another door. That opens other possibilities. But what I want y'all to do is ask yourself a question. Don't ask me. Ask yourself a question. Do you feel that Triple G is gonna win in September? Do you feel that way? Forget the stylistic matchup. We already know what both boxers are capable of. Forget all of that. Ask yourself a question. Don't give me the odds, Sean. Ask yourself, do you feel that Triple G will win in September? Ask yourself that. The question is not for me. Don't ask me shit. Ask yourself that shit. Because at the end of the day, we know what kind of shit goes on with Canelo, dog. And if you not going in here to knock him out and to punish him and to really put a hurting on him, if you want to play with him like you did before, that's your ass. Canelo ain't got to win to get the decision. He ain't got to win. I still think he can. But he has to come in like this is the 13th round. He got to come in like this to like, nah, I came here to fuck you up, bro. I lost my belt. I passed on the Saunders fight. I could have had a new belt. I'm here to fuck you up. That's why I'm here. My name is Gennady Golovkin, and I'm here to beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna beat the fucking hair on your head, Whyte. That's how bad I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. That's how he gotta come into that fight. Cause like I said, Canelo ain't gotta win to get the decision. He ain't gotta win. He just gotta finish the fight on his feet. He ain't gotta win. Canelo could pull out a fucking patio chair and smoke cigarettes for 12 rounds. And they'll give him the decision like, nah, did you see that shit? Yeah, Canelo really took that round. He ain't gotta win. So you gotta fuck him up like he ain't never been fucked up before. That's what you gotta do. Shit, kick him. Kick him, fuck it. Golovkin can't spend energy trying to knock out Canelo. That's very dangerous. No, but up the tempo with the jab and go to the body. Up the tempo with the jab. Keep that shit in his face. See if you could use it as a decoy to go to the body. That's what he didn't do in the last fight. Motherfuckers gonna be watching them judges, man. Motherfuckers gonna it's gonna be all eyes on the judges. It's gonna be all eyes on them. Like, don't do it again. If y'all, I swear to God, if y'all do it again, we gonna come off of these seats and we gonna beat the shit out of y'all. Don't do it again. We don't want to be complaining on Sunday morning. There's one thing I do know is Canelo Alvarez is one of the few fighters that don't have to win the fight to win the fight. That motherfucker could sit there and watch motherfucking old episodes of Law and Order and win the decision. What was Garcia IQ? He needs to wear Canelo down early to the body. Yeah. If he's gonna do something different in this fight that he didn't do in the last fight, he has to go to the body. Use the jab as a decoy and see if you can set up some hooks to the body. When you pin him down on the ropes, don't be so cautious with him. Don't even worry about the right hand. See if you could go to his body. Take his legs away. Yep, 1 year older, 1 year slower. But what he needs to do, another thing he needs to do is focus on cutting off the ring more. Focus on that. Because you want to pin him down on the ropes and you want to be able to target his midsection. If you headhunt him like you did the last time, he's just going to use that upper body movement to get out of the way of those punches. Rather than doing that, just target his midsection. Target his midsection. It's not that we think he needs to make changes, Nepal. It's more along the lines of a lot of us here feel that he won the first fight, but a lot of us here know that it's Canelo Alvarez. So if you don't want to be put in the same situation that you were put in before where the judges take it from you, you have to knock him out. So yeah, if you want to knock him out, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to do something different. I think he won the first fight. I think he won it. But we know that if it goes to the cards, there's a chance he'll get robbed. So if you don't want it to go to the cards, you got to knock him out. He ain't 38. Ain't that motherfucker like 36? He ain't 38. He was wary of the right hand, Jax. That's why he didn't go to the body. He's wary of the right hand. Whenever you go to the body, there's a chance that something's going to come back at you. That's really why he didn't go there. That and Canelo was moving around more than anybody thought he would. Remember, nobody associated Canelo Alvarez with lateral movement. Nobody associated him as a moving target up until that fight. That's going to throw you off a little bit. But now that you know that he could do that, now that you know that he could fight that kind of fight, you know what you got to do. Dad, I feel like Canelo gave Triple G the middle rounds to Canelo purposely to get a draw. That's why he's so confident. We go see, man. We go see. He better knock that little redheaded motherfucker out. That I do know. If you don't want them judges to take it from you, knock them out. They can't do shit about that. Now, he looks about the same. His punch, he looks like he's punching about the same. I mean, I know the Vanez fight didn't last very long, but his speed looks about the same. He didn't look different in that fight. I mean, Golovkin was never a fast guy. That's the other thing. He was never a fast guy. Golovkin has timing. He never really had speed. He has timing. This fight he could against Triple G, while Triple G could make improvements to win the fight. That's a fair assessment that Canelo was in rare form, because when have you ever seen Canelo Alvarez move around the ring that much? When have you ever seen that shit? I never seen that shit. Worrying he got buzzed by Vanez in round 1 and gets hit more frequently now. G was never so cautious until he fought Jacobs. In fact, he got hit so much by Brook. Hip to resume ratio is way off. Anyway, we gonna see, man, because I'm gonna be completely honest that the middleweight division isn't captivating my attention these days anyway. I'm more interested in the World Boxing Super Series at bantamweight. I'm more interested in the World Boxing Super Series at 140. Now that Maurice Hooker's in there, that's another world title that somebody can win. I ain't really worried about that 160 shit. Yeah, like, I'm more worried about that than I'm worried about Canelo and Triple G in September. Like, honestly, I really don't even care that much. I'm going to watch it. Of course I'm going to watch it. But I ain't really on it like that. I ain't really on it like that. Like, I'm more interested in seeing who's going to win that shit. Hell, to be honest, I'm more excited about Usyk versus Garcia than Canelo versus Triple G. I'm literally more excited for that fight than I am for Canelo versus Triple G Part 2. He sits on all his punches. That's why his jab is... Yeah, his jab is like a goddamn right hand. That dude's jab is something serious. B-Hop and Pascal were well past it, while Brook and Jacobs were prime. Brook, you think Brook is a good one? What the fuck is good about beating Kell Brook? What did he do at 160, Sean? What did Kell Brook do at 160? What did Kell Brook do at all besides beat Sean Porter 3 years ago? Brook is not a good win. Kell Brook is not a good win for Triple G. That's fucking ridiculous. The fuck did Kell Brook do? Clinch Sean Porter? Tie him up? Didn't do a goddamn thing. Rematch of Carson Jones? Brook and Jacobs. I don't know why he's saying that. Kovalev has a better resume than Triple G. Better resume, yeah. Fuck did Kell Brook do that he's a good win for a middleweight? The fuck did he do? Motherfucker didn't do damn near nothing at 147, but he's a good win for a middleweight? The fuck did he do? Kovalev has a better resume than Triple G. He does, but he doesn't have the discipline of Triple G. I'll say that Kovalev has a better resume, but he's not a better fighter than Triple G. He's not. Yeah, like, I don't understand that shit, Dan. Like, how the fuck is Kell Brook a good win? How? Brook damn near didn't do nothing at 147, even less at 160. How is that a good win? Triple G's best win, I would say, is... It's not... Look, first off, I'm going to tell you his best wins. But I'm not shitting on his resume. I'm just holding it side by side with other resumes, and I'm saying that Kovalev's is better. Now, Triple G's best wins. Daniel Jacobs. Martin Murray, that's a good win. Daniel Gill, that's a good win. David Lemieux at the time, that was a good win. He was on a hot streak. David Lemieux hadn't lost a fight in a long time. He's a dangerous guy at that time. David Lemieux was a good win. Curtis Stevens, decent win. Decent. Who else? Who else was a decent win? Nah, Brook is not even a decent win. Brook is just as bad as Canelo fighting Amir Khan. That's not a good win. That is a dark moment on your resume. That is a dark fucking moment on your resume. Brook didn't do fucking jack shit at 160. The fuck did he do that's a good win? Worrying Brook is arguably... Man, listen. Triple G does have a signature win, Nepal. He has David Lemieux. That's his signature win. That's his signature win. Oh, look, Sean, that was a bad win. I don't care how big a Triple G fan you are. That shit is disgraceful. Just like Canelo fighting Amir Khan. That shit is disgraceful. Motherfucker ain't do nothing up there. The fuck you getting a title shot up there? The fuck? No, that's not a good win. Kell Brook ain't done a goddamn thing damn near 147, so he's a good win for a middleweight? The fuck? It doesn't... Yo, dog, we all know it was a replacement fight for Eubank. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm saying it's not a good win. I already know Eubank fucked up the fight. I know that. But still, it's not a good win. Fucking Kell Brook, man. That motherfucker dumb. I'd have told Eddie, get the fuck out of my face, dog. I'm fighting Jesse Vargas. The fuck you mean you want me to fight Triple G? You trying to get me killed? Even Broner told him that shit. Like, bro, your people don't love you if they make you fight this guy. He's a monster. Broner said that shit. Look it up. I'd have told Eddie Hearn to kiss my whole ass. Like, you want me to fight who? What are you, out of your goddamn mind? You want to get me killed? I think Amir Khan should fight Kell Brook and be fucking quiet. That's what I think. Amir Khan is not interested in shit. Make him fight Kell Brook. I'm tired of waiting for it. Make the fight. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Motherfucker ain't do nothing up there. Motherfucker ain't do damn near nothing. Beat Sean Porter. What's he do? Jojo Dan, Kevin Bizier gets fucked up by Triple G. It's a bad win. It's not good. Triple G or AJ pound for pound. I don't really rank heavyweights on my pound for pound, man. If whoever becomes undisputed, I'll give them a rank because they, you know, then they really do deserve one. That establishes them as one of the best fighters in the world. If they do become undisputed, it can't be denied. But in a traditional sense, the pound for pound list really is not for heavyweights. So the inclusion of one is kind of a contradiction. It is. I don't know what pound for pound list had Klitschko on it. I'm assuming that it might have been Ring, and I don't doubt that they had a heavyweight on it. But at the end of the day, Ring Magazine is not the originator of the pound for pound list. They're just a publication that has a pound for pound list. They're not the ones that came out with that concept. That concept was around before them. It's funny Sean says that Yevchenko doesn't deserve a shot as a mandatory, but yet he defended Triple G. Yeah, like, the fuck you mean that Yevchenko doesn't deserve a shot? What do you, what do you guys, what is this deserve shit? Either you're the mandatory or you're not. It's that simple. You don't think that Yevchenko deserves a shot for beating Turiano Johnson, but you're okay with Vanez Martirosyan? The fuck? Right now I have Crawford, but if Lomachenko beats Mikey Garcia, you have to say that he's number one. You have to. You have to. The only, like, I'm going to put it to you like this. If Vasyl Lomachenko fights Mikey Garcia and beats him, whoever it is, the winner of that fight is the number one pound for pound fighter. That would put Crawford at number two. And the only thing that Crawford could do after that to reclaim number one is fight and defeat Errol Spence. That's all he can do. I don't know, Ahmed, but he did. Like, Vanez ain't that bad. Like, Vanez ain't that bad. Because think about it. Vasyl Lomachenko has right now, what? 12 professional fights. He's 11-1. If Mikey beats Easter and Loma beats Beltran, that makes their fight for all the belts. That's a hell of a fucking resume. It is. That would be a hell of a resume. For only, what, 14, 15 fights? You couldn't deny him if he beat Mikey. You couldn't. And you couldn't deny Mikey if he beat Loma. You can't. 4 divisions of uninterrupted success. And if he adds Loma's name to his resume, you can't, bro. You just can't. You can't. Who was Crawford's mandatory? Sergey Lipinets. Yeah, Pedraza looked sharp in his last fight, too. Pedraza looked sharp. He was fucking that other kid up, man. He's fucking that Mexican kid up, man. That might be a good fight between him and Beltran. It's not purposely took long to turn pro. Don't bring that bullshit over here, dog. Don't bring that shit over here. Lomachenko is a great fighter. If he wanted to stay in the amateurs to win 2 gold medals, what's wrong with that? He started off fighting ranked fighters, so it's not like he missed something. He started off fighting ranked fighters. What, you wanted him to fight 12 club fighters before things got interesting? Because that's how everybody else's resume is. That shit kills me when people say that shit. What is it? What's missing on his resume? The 12 or 15 club fighters that most other professionals fight before they start fighting ranked fighters? Lomachenko started off fighting ranked fighters. Well, they could turn pro at 17, but at the end of the day, when those guys turn pro at 17, who are they fighting? Are they fighting ranked world level fighters or are they fighting club fighters? Because even if you turn pro at 17, well, they're not going to put you in there with world-level opponents right away. They're going to make you fight club fighters and journeymen, and from journeymen, it's going to turn into former champions before you start fighting interesting opponents. Lomachenko didn't start off with none of that shit. He didn't need the filler. He started off fighting ranked fighters. So it's not like he missed something. The only thing that's missing from Vasyl Lomachenko's resume is the 10 or 15 journeymen and club fighters that every other guy has on their resume. Because that's what they have. They have journeymen and club fighters. Bring along guys. That's the only thing that's missing. Why the fuck would anybody complain about that? Obviously, if the dude has 400 amateur fights and 2 gold medals, he don't need to be fighting no fucking journeyman when he turns pro. Yeah, but you acting like Salido is a slouch. That's the other thing that kills me. Y'all acting like Salido is just a slouch. Y'all view of boxing is very peculiar, to say the least. I'm not saying that it's okay that he lost. He lost, but look at where he is today. That's all I'm saying. Look at where he is today. If it's so easy, then why everybody don't do it? If it's so easy. Devin Haney has more fights than Vasyl Lomachenko. How many champions has he beaten, though? How many? Gervonta Davis has more fights than Vasyl Lomachenko. How many champions has he beaten? How many divisions has he fought in? How many? Y'all could sing that Salido bullshit all day. Gervonta Davis didn't start off fighting champions. Devin Haney didn't start off fighting champions. Tevin Farmer didn't start off fighting champions. They didn't. So yes, Lomachenko lost. We know. But look at where he is today. And he still has less fights than them. Because they are still fighting club fighters. He's fighting ranked opponents. Champions, contenders. That's who he's fighting. Who are they fighting? Journeymen, club fighters. I'm not, but that's the point. Boxing is me. That's the point. That if he's not fighting those kinds of fighters, it's because of his amateur background. So what the fuck am I going to spend the next 10 fights fighting club fighters when I have 400 amateur fights and 2 gold medals? Obviously, I don't need to waste no more time on club fighters. I don't need to do that. These kids need to do that. Why do they need to do that? Because these kids are turning pro at 17. Whereas I'm already grown. I could start off fighting ranked fighters. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. It's just a shoulder injury. You got to remember, George Groves bounced back from a broken jaw, and that was before he fought Eubank. George Groves done been through the ringer. He bounces back from a broken jaw and embarrasses the hell out of Chris Eubank. So Loma will be okay. I don't really have favorite fighters, Jamari. I don't play that game anymore. I like watching different styles of fighters. I like watching different styles mesh against each other. I don't really have favorites. Well, let's put it this way. If you're turning pro at 17, you're only shortchanging yourself. You could continue as an amateur, but you want to turn pro at 17. Okay, well, you're turning pro at 17, but you're not fighting ranked fighters. You're fighting club fighters. So are we now saying that, oh, Vasyl Lomachenko, his resume ain't all that because he didn't spend 10 fights fighting club fighters? Because that's who people fight when they start off. They don't fight Orlando Salido. They don't fight Gary Russell. They fight club fighters. That's who they fight for 10 and 15 fights. That's the only thing that's missing on his resume. Club fighters. Well, you got to remember, Ahmed, that was a mutual agreement between them. It's not one way. It's not one way. DeBella agreed to that shit too. What the hell is that? DeBella agreed to that shit too. I was about to say, what the fuck? Yeah, but Ahmed, you got to realize something. See, this is why I don't like when people do that. Realize something. Ndungo took the fight on short notice against the Southpaw. He did not even have a full camp for that fight. 2, that was right after Crawford knocked him out. That was right after that. This is why I said I don't want Ortiz to fight Whyte. Not right away. That I would prefer. Not that I don't want him to fight, but that I don't want that to happen because people are gonna say what you're saying now. That, oh look, he knocked him out in less time. Well, he's tenderized now. Of course, he knocked him out in less time. Lomachenko has a couple of bums on his record. What bums? Let me ask you a question. If that's a bum, what about the last guy that Devin Haney fought? What about the last guy that Gervonta Davis fought? What can you tell me about them? What about the last guy that Shakur Stevenson fought? What about him? What can you tell me about them? Oh, so you hold him to a standard because he has 400 amateur fights, but he's a 3-division champion in 12 fights. So obviously the amateur record means something. Well, let's look at it. You say you hold a guy with 400 amateur fights to a different standard than Devin Haney. What standard is that? Is Devin Haney a 3-division champion? Is Devin Haney a 3-division champion? Is Gervonta Davis a 3-division champion? Do you think they will be 3-division champions anytime soon? Do you think that Shakur Stevenson will be a 3-division champion in his 12th fight? Do you think that? This is what I'm saying. If it's so fucking easy, then tell everybody to do it. If it's so easy. The point that I'm making is Vasyl Lomachenko is a skilled fighter. That's the point. Amateur system, no amateur system, 12 fights, 24 fights. Vasyl Lomachenko has proven that he is one of the most skilled fighters in the world. How do I know? Because he has 400 amateur fights and 2 gold medals. That's how I know that he's a skilled fighter. Because he started off fighting ranked opponents instead of club fighters. That's how I know that he's a skilled fighter. It's very simple. You don't think Vasyl Lomachenko is a skilled fighter? You don't? All right. If he's not skilled, then I'll tell you what. Tell somebody to go to the amateurs, win 400 fights. Go. It's easy. Loma did it. You do it. If it's easy. Y'all talk about that shit like it's easy. I'll tell you what. Going to amateurs, I want you to win 300 plus fights as an amateur, and I want you to get 2 gold medals. I want you to get not 1, I want you to get 2. It's easy. Loma did it. Then what I want you to do is I want you to turn pro, and I want you to be a 3-division champion in 12 fights. Do it. It's easy. Loma did it. You do it. Since it's easy. I don't think Lomachenko is unbeatable. I don't think he's invincible. But is he a pound-for-pound fighter? Oh, yes. He most certainly is. He most certainly is. I don't think he's invincible. His time is going to come. But not today. Out of news, to me, nothing against him. He on his grind. He does his job. I don't got nothing against that guy, but he likes fighters too much. And because you like them too much, you're not really giving me the news. You giving me like some fan type shit. That's like if I went to a fan page to get the news from a fan of a particular guy. Like, bro, I don't want to hear you gushing over that shit. I don't like that shit. Like, I'm a fan of the sport. I'm not a fan of this guy and this guy. I'm a fan of the sport. I'm not like, oh, no, AJ. Like, man, shut the fuck up, dog. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm a fan of the sport. The fuck? I'm just as interested to see Usyk fight Garcia as I am to see Prograis fight Josh Taylor or somebody. I just want to see the good fights. These motherfuckers be acting like, these motherfuckers be super duper fans. Like, bruh, Triple G could retire tomorrow. I'ma still watch boxing. Lomachenko could retire tomorrow. I'ma still watch boxing. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, I hope they fight. I want them to fight. But in the mean in between time, I'm not obsessing over that shit. It's mad other fights. Yeah, I fuck with Hatman. I like Hatman. You wanna know what boxing channels I like? I like Dwyer. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this the second opinion from a complete stranger online. Dwyer is like the Rod Serling of boxing. Old heads, y'all know who Rod Serling is. That's my guy Dwyer. I always tune into his shits. He always makes good points. He don't always get the predictions right, but he makes a good fucking point. Now, I ain't gonna say that. Dwyer picked George Groves to beat Eubank, I think. I ain't gonna say that. I think he picked George Groves to beat Eubank. And I think he picked Garcia to beat Dortico. It was two that he got right very recently. But he like the Rod Serling of boxing. I fucks with him. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this as, you know what I'm saying? You know what he be saying. I like Hatman too. I fucks with Hatman. Rummy's Corner's okay. Rummy's Corner. Who else? What's another channel that I watch? I like whenever 78 does a video about Broner. Them shits be having me rolling. I think so too, Eric. I don't trust Caleb Smith. Skoklin exposed him. He exposed him. I don't trust him. 78 bias when it comes to Deontay Wilder. It can't be helped. It like literally it cannot be helped. It just can't. Like I'm like, bro, I'm not even gonna get into that shit. Motherfuckers is like, they really invested in that shit.